Hey everyone, First T here. Thanks for checking out this YouTube channel. Congratulations, Patrick Reed, on winning the 2020 WGC Mexico Championship. Here's his post-win press conference interview.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome winner of the 2020 World Golf Championships Mexico Championship, Patrick Reed, to the interview room. Patrick, it was definitely a grind out there. There was a lot of things happening on the board, but you're able to prevail with birdies on 3 of your last 4. Just take us through your day briefly, if you could.
It was a interesting day, to say the least. Going out and playing the final group, especially with a guy like Justin Thomas, who was ahead by 1, and playing with Eric, who was tied with me. And for us to get off to a birdie start, and then all of us seemed to get really flat. And, I missed a lot of greens, had to just get up and down on the whole front 9. And seeing all those birdies happen, Kessler was able to kind of pull me back and say, hey, quit pressing, quit trying to go for everything. Let's just, let's get the ball on the green. Your putter's been working all week. He's like, and let's just leave it up to the putter. And, I was able to do that. I was able to get one on the green and kind of built some momentum, even though it was a par on 11. Made that putt, and then after that, it just seemed to, the hole seemed to get a little larger and seemed to start making some putts.
And then this win moves you to number 5 in the FedEx Cup standings. Just talk about how this win's setting you up and getting you into a good position in this early part of the season still.
Yeah, that was huge because, our goal coming into the year was to get a win, before we got to Augusta, try to get that momentum going into our first major. And, to be able to get it done before we even get to the Florida swing definitely feels great, and definitely gives me the momentum, not only in FedEx Cup, but also kind of setting us up coming into the other big events coming up, and setting us up for the playoffs. So, it's awesome to go out and get the win early, and now hopefully we can just continue to push through, keep grinding, and hopefully continue to put myself in these situations.
All right, thank you. We'll go ahead and start with some questions. We'll start with Brian here. If you can get a microphone over here.
Patrick, given some of the things that were said earlier this week, did you feel like you had something to prove this week?
Yeah, I felt like I had something to prove to myself coming into this week, because I felt like I've been playing some really solid golf and just haven't quite gotten over that hump to get the W, with losing in a playoff, and then, to feel like I played some solid golf at Torrey. But then, coming into this week, I knew we were in good pattern, and I knew all I needed to do was, continue to try to improve on my golf game, but at the same time, just block out all the noise, no matter what it was. And I feel like I've been able to do that really well throughout my career. And growing up, I've always been able to just kind of, when I get inside the ropes or on the golf course, just focus on what I need to do, and that's play golf. And, it's always satisfying to come out and, especially in a World Golf Championship and to be able to win, especially with how poorly I felt like I played last Sunday, last year at this point.
Good, Doug, right here.
Two things before we get to the golf. Do you like it when you feel like the world's against you?
I'm used to it. I mean, it doesn't. Honestly, it's one of those things that at the end of the day, all I can control is me and what I do on and off the golf course. And if I feel like I'm improving each day on and off the golf course and setting a good example for the next generation coming up, the children, as well as my own children, then that's all I can do. And, I feel like I've been doing a good job of that. And I feel like I've been growing as a person and as a golfer. And, that's all I can really do.
Secondly, how did you putt? Why do you putt these greens so well?
Good question. I don't know. I've always felt like I've putted pretty well on Poe for some reason. And the only thing I can think of is, when I get those short putts, I've always been pretty good at playing the high side and kind of, softer speeds. And I feel like when you get on Poe, it all comes down to speed. You need to have good speed on the greens, because the last thing you want is 3 and 4 footers coming back every time, especially when they get bumpy. And at the same time, I'm really good at just kind of letting things go. So if I happen to miss a putt, I don't dwell on it, and I never think about it moving forward. But also at the same time, if I make a putt, I don't think about it when I'm going on the next hole. So you need to have a very short-term memory when you play a putt on Poe, because you're going to hit some great putts that are going to miss, and you're going to hit some bad putts that go in. And I feel like I'm rolling it really well. And for some reason, my eyes were working really well this week.
45 one putts. Does that seem kind of high to you?
I feel like I had 45 one putts today, considering I missed every green. Yeah, 45. That's a high number up there, but that's what you're going to have to do to win golf tournaments. The fields these days are so deep, and then on top of it, the talent that guys have nowadays. You can't make 3 or 4 bogeys around. You have to go out and have some, 1 bogeys or bogey-free rounds or 2 bogeys out there. So the only way you're going to do that is by making putts and getting up and down and having a lot of 1 putts.
Go Bob and Steve.
Patrick, you said a few minutes ago that you're used to it, the noise, and obviously there was some more this week. Is it coincidence that you win in a week like that, or do you thrive on it?
For me, it's just I don't. The thing with me is I don't read really what's going on in the media. It's more my team that handles all that, and when I get on tournament week, I mean, the only thing I really read is I check up on the other sports that are going on ESPN, and besides that, it's usually Weather Channel. I'll check the weather, and then usually it's watch some TV shows, on TV. So I really don't. I don't focus too much on what's going on in the media, especially tournament weeks, because you never know what's going to be said. Even when it's other players, talking about the golf course, and they're like, "Oh, we know this golf course is playing firm and fast, or it's playing hard." Well, that's their assessment. Their ball flight might be different than yours, so you don't want to have a kind of a mentality going into the week that it's playing really hard or playing really soft. You want to go in there and try to figure out your own game plan.
Steve.
First of all, the tee shot on 18. What happened, and how much of a struggle was it on that final hole?
Well, the tee shot didn't help. The fans this week, they were great most of the whole entire week. And, when we were on 18 there, they were getting excited because they were coming out of the grandstands on 17. And, someone had like a coughing attack, and literally it started right in the middle of my backswing and probably didn't stop for about 15 seconds after that. So, I hope the person's all right, but, it was just perfect timing. It caught me right in the middle of my swing, and luckily all I needed was bogey to win the hole and to win the golf tournament. And, I've been over there before, even when it's been quiet, and so I kind of knew, all right, when I got to that position over there, just chip it back to the fairway, get it on the middle of the green, 2-putt to win golf tournament. And, I didn't need anything special in the last, just don't have any catastrophic explosions.
And earlier this week, you said that the noise had bothered your team. How much had it bothered your team?
For me, it didn't bother me at all. I'm on the golf course. I'm focusing on what I need to do. My team knows that when I'm playing in tournaments, that they know that I'm kind of in my zone doing my thing. So I'd have to talk to my team later on to see how much it bothered them or not. Because when it's tournament week, it's it's me going out there playing golf, and then after that I just go ahead and I FaceTime back home to see the little ones. That's about it.
Patrick, where do you get your golf news?
Huh?
Where do you get your golf news?
Usually from my team.
They tell you what's going on?
Yeah, they of course. My team always keeps me in the loop on what's going on, and off weeks I might look at some stuff here or there, but a lot of times, I've always open up PGA Tour app and European Tour app, so I see who wins golf tournaments, who doesn't, who's playing well, who's not. But I don't really read that much about what's going on the golf, just because for me, I need to stay true to who I am, and that's playing my own game. And when I first came out here, I was so engulfed in what everyone else was doing, how the top players would play the game, and it would get me away from my game plan and how I would play the game of golf. And when that happens, it just kind of takes you away from your blueprint and who you are. And it seemed to not really work very well right in the very beginning when I turned professional. And I was able to kind of sit down and just be like, okay, I need to go out there and just be me. And that's what got me to this position, is being who I am and how I play. And with doing that, I was able to kind of get back on track.
And leading the race to Dubai, by the way.
Am I?
Absolutely.
Yes.
16, I wonder if that looked like a pretty special shot left and around the tree. I wonder if you could take us through club and what you're trying to do.
Yeah, on 16, we were in between 3 and 4 iron off that tee, but I felt like I was over-swinging. I was clubbing down too much and over-swinging all day. So I decided to go with a 3 iron and happened to hit it too far. And the trees on the left were literally right on the edge of the flag. And so I knew I had to start at the right edge of the green. And it was a perfect kind of like really soft pitching wedge number, but with the ball kind of hanging below my feet and with the wind, if anything, a little off the left, we didn't feel like I'd get it there. So, Kessler's like, hey, how hard can you hit 51? I was like, well, I can hit pretty hard, and I've always been good at being able to kind of shut it down and kind of get it to come out even a little quicker. And it was just a perfect number for me to swing hard and hit a draw, draw 51, and I was able to kind of hit a perfect contact. And at that point, I didn't know where it went because I was looking straight in the sun, and then I heard people clapping. At that point, I knew it was at least on the bottom level.
Rex?
Patrick, having won this event, much different formula, different golf course. How are you different as a person and as a player?
I think the biggest thing is I've grown as a person. I've not allowed too many things bother me, the highs and lows in golf, especially through a round of golf. You're going to get bad. When I first came out and stuff, I would get upset on bad breaks, bad bounces, bad rounds, bad shots, or I'd get way too excited on good shots and stuff like that. So there's just too much of a high and low going on that just doesn't sustain through time. And I'm able to now kind of grow and just allow the highs to stay there, but kind of bring them back, and then allow the lows just not to get me down that much. And at the end of the day, I feel like I've of course worked really hard on my short game, as well as my I feel like I've worked hard on my driving as well. And I would say from last time when I won it at Doral, the biggest difference is I'm driving the ball better, I'm more consistent, and my short game's on point.
Go on.
Patrick, yeah. So in a time when everybody's trying to control their calendar, playing less tournaments, and control their energy, you're still playing a lot, and you still have your energy and your stamina. So, what's the secret? What do you do for that?
For me, I think the biggest thing is I have such an awesome team around me. With what my wife does, what my mother-in-law does, what my managers do, and, with what Kessler does as a caddy and what my coaches do, all I literally have to do is show up, play golf, go back, rest, hang out with the little ones. And there's not a lot of extra just kind of energy being burnt throughout weeks. So I'm just allowed to sustain and play longer. And my coach and I, we've found out a pretty good game plan that allows me to go out and play 4 or 5 weeks in a row, where we have practice schedules where I stay sharp and at the top of where I'm supposed to be playing, but allowed to still continue to play at the highest level of my 4th and 5th week, which it's hard to do, because when you come out here, you always want to practice to kind of get ready for the week, and then by Sunday you're pretty tired and pretty burnt out. So I couldn't imagine trying to go for a 2nd, 3rd, or 4th week.
Was it tougher here this week with the conditions and the altitude?
Oh, for sure. I don't think I've ever had to play such a fast front 9 in the first 3 days. We turned in 2:12 and 2:14, and we got put on the clock on hole 10 because they wanted us to turn in 2:06. And I felt like we were running up the hills to play the first 3 days, and it's tough. It's basically like conditioning out there. When you're at altitude and when you're going up hills, it takes the breath out of you, and you need to just know how to kind of calm yourself down, get the heart rate down quick enough to be able, execute a good golf shot and the shot you're trying to hit.
Let's do one more here with Bob.
Patrick, I know it's a long way off, but where does the Olympics rank for you, in terms of making it there? And could you just speak to how hard it is to qualify for one of those 4 spots for the U.S. side this go around?
Yeah, anytime I can represent the United States and wear red, white, and blue, I'm all in. So it's always on my radar. And, to get one of those 4 spots is really hard. That means you have to play some absolute amazing golf throughout not just a year or just a short period of time. You have to do it for 2 full straight years, because you look at the guys that are up there. You got Brooks, DJ, who else? Justin, Tiger, Cantlay, Xander. The list goes on. It just keeps on going on. And when you have a list like that, you have to go out and continue to play well. You can't go into weeks and just waste weeks. You can't go and finish 30th, 40th, 50th, and move up. You're actually going to go the wrong direction. So you have to not only play, but you have to play at the highest level every week, week in and week out. And that's what makes it so special. And that's what also makes it so special representing your country and going and play for a golf tournament.
Right, finally, right here. Doug?
Sorry, I thought there was someone else. You speak a lot about the support and the team that you have around. I'm curious, do you have any players that you lean on out here, advice-wise, or just?
I talk to Tiger quite a bit. Bubba always. Bryson. I mean, a lot of the guys I've been on the Ryder Cups, Presidents Cups teams, we talk quite a bit, and it's just one of these things that when you see them during the week, it's a lot easier talking to them. But with me, with how much I travel overseas and stuff, it's hard to talk to them as much, text them back and forth. But we definitely keep in touch.
And a couple more things. What is your schedule leading into the Masters?
Everything. I'll take next week off, and then I'll play the whole Florida swing, the rest of the Florida swing.
Rest of the Florida swing.
Match play, week off, then Augusta.
So no San Antonio. Mm-mm. And lastly, I'm really curious about this, going back to the start of the week, and I think a lot of people probably are too. What happens next time you run into Brooks? What happens next time you pair with her or something like that? How do you deal with situations like that?
I put the ball in the ground and I just hit my next shot.
Is it awkward at all, the conversation?
No, not at all. It's BK. At the end of the day, we go out there and the only thing we can control is what we do on the golf course. Is go play golf and play the best as we can. It doesn't matter if it's any of the guys, Brooks, Rory, DJ, Tiger, any of the guys. You're going out and playing golf, and those guys are in your group. You have to step up and play the best golf you can because how high caliber the guys are. So you just go out there and play the best golf you can. And
Congratulations once again, Patrick Reed. What are your thoughts on the 2020 WGC Mexico Championship? Let me know in the comments section below, and please click on the thumbs up icon if you liked this video. Subscribing to this YouTube channel and sharing the video also helps, and don't forget to click on the notification button for this channel so you won't miss the next First 2T video.